Just nice and easy. I'm taking my time. How this thing cuts. You see it just oscillates. But it's still just a little on the snug side. Look at the rod holders. Our pumps back here in the bilge area, all of the terminals in connection. Here we got our breaker, 60 amp breaker for our trolling motor. We're in the boat shop after our initial sea trial. So we ran the boat the other day. You guys were with us when we did that. Boat performed really well. That's a big relief. I tell you, a lot of work there. You really don't know till you run one, but super happy. But we are back in here trying to wrap things up, get ready to take this boat fishing and sell our current boat. And today we are working on hatches. So these are made out of the 3/4 inch thick Coosa, and I just wrapped them. We did 2 layers of chop strand mat, which would be this material right here. We're basically just trying to seal it and give it a nice surface. The 3/4 Coosa is very strong as it is, and they're fairly small hatches, so we didn't need to add a lot of glass to it. And we're masking and taping. We've already put 2 coats of Gelcoat without the wax additive, and we're about to put the Nonskid on there. We're going to roll it on, get a nice texture, let it dry overnight, and then we're going to do the final coat, and we're going to be adding some of the sanding aid or the wax solution. That is what you're going to add on the very last coat. That's what helps the Gelcoat cure. It keeps it from remaining tacky. It's what's called an air inhibitor. Gelcoat's not like paint. It doesn't dry in the air. It cures, but it actually needs a film of some kind over it. Modifier C uses wax. You can use a material called polyvinyl alcohol or PVA. You can use plastic film sometime. There's different ways to do that, but that's the next step. Pretty exciting. I want to take this boat fishing. We're in the home stretch now. Y'all hang tight. It's going to be a good episode. There we go, y'all. We got the Nonskid rolled on. It looks really nice, I think. You can see the base coat. We had lightly sanded it. Y'all saw the tape earlier and the nice Nonskid texture. Got all 3 hatches done. We're going to let that kick off for just a little while. We're going to try to get another coat on here before we go home. All right, y'all, check it out. That's a little Corona roller, some blue tape. I know y'all have seen me do this trick before, but it will improve the quality of your Gelcoat work. Now, these Corona rollers are good as they are, but wrap them with tape, leave a little tag in, and I folded it back on itself so it's real easy to grab. Stick it on there, and then we're going to pull it off, and you'll see there are hairs. They're coming off of there. There's a big old clump. Look at that. That would come off in your Gelcoat otherwise if you didn't do something to help remedy that. So that's one of those little tricks. And what we're fixing to do is mix up the last. Y'all check this out. This whole boat has been built over years, and that is hopefully the last batch of Gelcoat or resin or fiberglass or anything that we use. And that's monumental. That's a big, big deal. These are the hatches. The Nonskid is tacked off nicely. I got my little metered. That's some of the Norox, the MEKP, the 925. That's the good high strength stuff. And I'm just gonna kind of wing it, y'all. I've done this so much, we're probably gonna run about 5 cc's or so in that batch. There's your clear catalyst. I'm gonna mix this just a little bit. That's probably more Gelcoat than we're gonna need, but I'd rather have a little too much than not enough. Y'all notice I'm kind of going around the edges. Now, normally I would have added the wax solution first, but I was in a little bit of a hurry there. We can make it all work. I'm gonna add a capful, another capful, and another capful. That is probably beyond what most people would think you need to add, but I have found that you can add quite a bit of modifier C. Everything still works really good. It kind of thins the Gelcoat out. Now, that's probably more than what most people would do or need to do, but I do not want these hatches to be tacky, and that is crucial. I know I got a lot of questions on the, especially on the Gelcoat repair side of things, but I always order Gelcoat that does not have wax in it, and then I add the wax, but it's only on the last coat. Y'all notice I'm kind of going around the edges. I've got the pan tilted so it falls back on itself. Mix, mix, mix. I'll jog the brush because sometimes you get material held in there. All right, that should be good. We're gonna load up our little Corona roller. Just take your time. All right, here we go. We're gonna cover up. We're gonna bury that Nonskid. Put a pretty nice heavy coat on there. It's gonna take more on Nonskid than a normal surface because you got a lot of surface area within it. All right, tell you what, Logan, come on around the other side and you might have a better. There you go. That way you're not between me and the pan. Just nice and easy. I'm taking my time. We've already gel coated the underside of this over the last couple days. Just want to take my time. That's where the hinges are going to be. I think that looks very, very nice. All right, I'm going to load that roller up again, and Logan, you can go right on over that way. I'm going to be working towards you. Just taking our time, working right out to the edge. You can see that Nonskid is kind of soaking up that material. That's what you want. We use different size rollers. Sometimes we use a 6-inch. I think this is a 3 or a 4, a little bit smaller. This is a smaller job. Not trying to cover as much territory. And you notice I'm just doing it real systematically. Kind of starting at one side, working across, and then a lot of times we will start across the hatch and go back and forth just to be sure you're getting 100% coverage on everything. All right, Logan, I'm coming around to that one. Same deal, y'all. Just take your time. The roller's loaded up nice and heavy. I don't want it to go down over the edges quite just yet. It's really looking nice. Oh man, this has been a long day coming here. Been a journey for sure. Notice I'm changing my angles here, y'all. We're going back across it diagonally at this point. Did it one direction, then another. That just helps us make sure we don't miss any spots. All right, so now that my roller is loaded a little lighter, I'm going to come back and very carefully touch up these edges. Don't want a lot of material on there. It just needs a tiny bit to give it a little bit of gloss back. You want your roller to be turning, or else you won't get the right texture coming around, but it can be kind of slick on those corners and it can want to slide. See a little bit of unfinished edge there. Just take your time. Sometimes it's really nice to have more than one set of eyes watching what's happening. Sometimes you will miss a spot. You can come back with a little touch-up brush and get it, but it's always better to try to get it all in one go. Notice I'm not going crazy fast. I'm just taking my time. It's tricky because this stuff is catalyzed and it's only gonna give you so long to work. But if you work too fast, you'll miss spots or you'll go slinging gel coat. Fortunate to have Logan or my brother Mark around a lot of times to help me see if I've missed something. Logan, I think that is it. I think we have finished the Gelcoat and the fiberglass. That's it. I think they look really, really nice. Y'all, those are gonna cure overnight. I'm gonna go home and celebrate or something. I am super stoked about that. Thank y'all so much for being here with us. We got more cool stuff to come. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. I've been working trying to finish up some of the systems, but what we're working with today is a tool that I don't believe y'all have seen me use before. That's made by a company called Fine. It's F-E-I-N. That's like a little oscillating multi-tool, and they got different bits on here. This one is actually made by Bosch, but it'll fit this tool, and it's a grout. Let me put my glasses on. It is a grout and abrasive, and that is a carbide grit, which carbide will cut fiberglass. You can see there's already a little fiberglass dust on there. Now this tool is not something for cutting big, long, expansive runs, but if you got something that's very precise and detailed and you need something kind of go in there and cut out a bit. And what we're working on right now is getting our switches installed. Now that is made by Blue Sea Systems. We've used their switches before with a lot of success. That's what's on our Kenner. Our Kenner just has a single 8 switch panel. This boat has a few more systems, so we're gonna sister that with another 4 switch. We're gonna run these two side by side just below the instrumentation. And what I've done is I've taken some time to mark all this out. You can see there's a whole series of lines and whatnot, but what we're trying to do is just get some symmetry and flow. That's basically the center line of the dash, the center of the gauge, and we're gonna kind of split these two. And it's a little nerve-wracking, honestly, to be cutting holes in this dash. And those switch panels, it's kind of hard to know accurately or perfectly accurately where they're gonna go. If you're doing anything like this, I highly recommend making some little wood templates or patterns. Now these are exact. This is the actual cutout that you got to have for the mechanical part of that to fit through, and then you've got the outer flange, and you can place these in areas when you're doing something like this, and you can see that zigzag line is the line we're actually going to cut. But you can lay this panel up there and you can get an idea, and then this one is going to sister right up to it, and you can see that zigzag line there. We've already marked these, so I will be cutting out that little rectangle and that little rectangle. But you're going to want to make some templates if you're cutting holes in your boat. It takes a minute to do this, but it certainly eliminates a lot of guesswork. So all right, so what we're going to do, I'm gonna plug in the old shop vac, because we are fixing to make some dust, and Logan's gonna try to video and hold the vacuum. At this point, we're trying to keep the boat clean and as dust free as possible. There we go. And I'm gonna demonstrate for y'all, if you've never seen one of these little tools cut fiberglass before, it's pretty cool. Again, you just want to be super careful. And I'm going to put some earplugs in because it's loud. Some eye protection's a good idea too. All right, I think we're going to do the smaller one first. So Logan, see if you can get right in there, and I'm going to demonstrate for them how this thing cuts. You see it just oscillates. Thing is loud. All right, so you guys can see how effective that was. You can kind of do what I call a plunge cut, where you can just take that blade and push right in there, just nice and easy. And it's very, very precise. Once again, that's a little fine multi-tool. If you don't own one and you're doing some precise fiberglass work, you need to get one. Y'all probably don't need to see me cut all that out. You kind of get the idea. I'm gonna finish this up and I'll show you guys what it looks like when we're all done. All right, so there is the cutout. And we've got our little 4-rocker switch panel. Tuck it in there nice and easy peasy. Just like that. So I'm going to show you guys another trick. We've cut out that hole with our multi-tool, the oscillating multi-tool, and I've gone ahead and drilled some countersink, some pilot holes for the little small screws that come with these Blue Sea systems. Quite tiny, you can see. Typically on a pilot hole bit, you kind of want the screw diameter to be about the diameter of the main shaft of the screw, but the threads extend out beyond that. And y'all can see here, we've got molded, like a molded fiberglass finish, and we're gonna be self-tapping in. So I want y'all to notice, we've got a drill that's a good bit larger than our pilot hole, and it is gonna be wide enough that it extends all the way past the threads. And what can happen sometimes, and I'm sure y'all have seen it, is if you just drill a pilot hole that's big enough for the shaft and the threads are cutting in, a lot of times it'll send out stress fractures into the surrounding glass. So you run a slightly larger drill bit, like the one that I'm showing is several sizes bigger, and you got to be really, really careful. The trick is to run the drill bit in reverse, and you go down just through the gel coat. I mean, just down 30 seconds of an inch or so. I'm going to demonstrate for that, y'all, and that's going to keep you from getting those stress cracks when you screw a self-tapper in. So there again, I've got a drill bit here that's about the size of the total outside diameter of all the screws. We've already got all the pilot holes. You can see it is running in reverse. That's going to be very important. And what we're going to do is just going to set it in. We're just going to get a light countersink. I believe y'all can see there, we went down just through the gel coat a tiny bit, and in that way when we run the screw in there, the stress from the threads will not create a stress crack. Yep, battery switches. Those are Blue Sea systems. What we're gonna do, y'all, just like on the Kenner, I like mounting these things externally because a lot of times you want to come over the side of the fender, just be able to turn the battery switches on and off. Sometimes my trolling motor will lose its GPS signal and it may be driving you into something you don't want to drive into. I'm gonna reach down and just very rapidly turn the battery switch off. So just like on the Kenner, they're kind of mounted on this panel here. We'll have real easy access to the back side. Now they are fully exposed. Some people may want them kind of tucked away, but these are the little Blue Sea systems. They got a couple posts on the back, just a real simple on off. And we're going to be using a hole saw to punch a hole in that thing. So you guys have seen me drill holes before. I'm going to let Logan hold the camera. Come on around there, Mr. Logan. And we're going to plug in the vacuum. He's going to play double duty. We're going to be drilling and vacuuming at the same time. Let's see, come on around there, Logan. Now we've already measured things out. Got a center mark. Yep. Looking good. Hold her nice and steady there, brother. Hold it really close to the, hold the brush right on the, right, there we go. Come on around here, Logan. I'm gonna show. Now this may be a little, unplug that vacuum, a little on the tight side. Sometimes you gotta ream them out just a smidge. I'm gonna open that up. I'm gonna have to open that up with a die grinder a little bit, y'all. Check it out. That right there, that's a little carbide burr. I showed you guys earlier, we had drilled this hole. I had the closest hole saw that I had, but it's still just a little on the snug side. So the answer to that, sometimes it's hard to have every single size hole saw, but if you got a rasp or a burr, I'm gonna chuck that, get some vacuum going again. This thing wasn't so loud, but it is what it is. All right, Mr. Logan's gonna there we go. All right, so excuse all the noise, y'all. We got the compressor and everything, but man, sometimes you just don't have all the hole saws you need. There again, a little carbide burr. That is a very useful tool, and once again, we're always trying to use the vacuum. And I know typically you see these switches tucked away somewhere, but for our application, I really like them on the Kenner. On the exterior, you can kind of reach over the side of the gunnels, turn the battery switches on and off. You don't have to come all the way up in the boat. Yep, there you go. Battery switches installed. So we got those all fit. You'll notice we got two on the port side, one on the starboard. That's because we got a trolling motor on the lower one, and then port and starboard engines. And not only do we have them installed, but we've got them wired in place. 60 amp breaker for the trolling motor. You can see we got super easy access to everything if we need it. And there is our battery bank. Let me see if I can shed a little light on this. 5 batteries total, 3 forward for the trolling motor, port and starboard for the engine. And you can see access here to the starboard as well. And we've got our Minn Kota onboard digital charger in operation. Now, one thing I wanted to show y'all, these things can generate some heat or some warmth when they're charging. And I actually left a gap here, and the way I did that is I've got studs that run through, and I put a 1/4 inch nut there at the base, and then mounted the charger and then locked it into place with another locking nut, and that creates an air gap in between there, so you get a little better ventilation. Now this console is very well ventilated. That opening stays open all the time. You're going to get a lot of airflow through there, but also helps increase the life of the battery charger and just makes me feel better. I like that air moving through there. So making really good progress. We've also got all the rod holders installed since you guys seen last. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a total of 20 rod holders on the console. So we will be prepared for any situation. You guys know I do a combination of inshore and nearshore, offshore. Also have the Minn Kota, that's the 72-inch shaft, 112-pound thrust. Got the wiring tucked in here nice and neat. We got it wired in directly right underneath, and we're working on the hatches right now as well. When we went and did the sea trial, y'all noticed the boat did not have hatches. We were working on them. Got the Gelcoat on them, Nonskid. We drilled the holes. We're using these real nice, these are Gemlux hinges, kind of a double action there. They got some range of motion. Got our nice Gemlux cleats as well. And then I'm gonna show y'all here aft. We are working on our aft hatches, and that is kind of really the last structural stuff you got. So here you see earlier we were gel coating. You can see that turned out, I think it turned out quite nice. Y'all tell me what you think. We've already popped the holes in there, and that is the style pull that we're looking at. There again, our friendly folks over there at Gemlux, they make really nice hardware. That's what she looks like in the package. This one came with a kit where you got a couple of different style catches for it, and that worked out good. The folks there suggested it's a few bucks extra, but if you have a new installation where you don't know exactly if you're going to need a straight hatch or an offset, it's a few bucks more, but they send it to you, and that way you got what you need when you're doing the install. So I'm pretty excited. I know the boat looks like a bomb went off here, y'all, or a hurricane. There's stuff everywhere, but with rigging, that's kind of how it goes. We just got a lot of stuff in play right now, and we're kind of working on multiple things, but we're a few days out. Now, one of the big decisions we've got to make, and I would like y'all's input on that, maybe you can drop a comment what your favorite brand of marine electronics would be. So I've been running Garmin, I really like them, but I also noticed that Simrad seems to be making a lot of stuff. A lot of guys are switching to Simrad. And you'll notice the console here is still wide open and yet to be determined what brand of marine electronics. It's a lot of money. We're going with 12-inch units, and we want to do 2 of them, so it's considerable. Want to be sure we're making a good decision. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Channel's been growing rapidly. Y'all seem to be enjoying the content. Please drop me a like, the thumbs up, share. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, that helps support the channel, helps me do more of this kind of stuff. So y'all hang tight, got some cool stuff coming your way. So we've moved on a little bit, y'all. We've got a lot of the wiring done. We're not completely done with it. Part of the wiring involves getting power from all of our pumps back here in the bilge area up to the console. So we've got all the heavy wiring is all done, but the lighter stuff. But I've got some hose connections to make, and I thought I would show you guys a couple little tricks. We're using a really heavy duty, that's a 1 1/8 inch. It's a marine grade, really durable. It's got a backer inside of it. It's made for like live well applications. Matter of fact, I will show y'all the box. It's a company that makes an awful lot of marine hoses and whatnot, and it's made by, that's Shields Marine Hose, and there we go. That's what we're using. We're using the 1 1/8 inch. And this stuff though is pretty tough. I mean, it does not have a lot of give. It is not like your typical like fuel line or rubber hose, and sometimes it can be pretty challenging to get it to go on to these different fittings. You can see we got a whole assortment of them, but I have found that you can use a heat gun and you can just warm it up a bit. Now, you don't want to get it smoking hot. I mean, you warm it to the point where you can still touch it. It's going to be hot or warm, but it's not going to be like melting hot. You don't want to compromise the integrity of the material. Just warm it up a little bit. Most people know that anytime you work with material, if it gets cold, it gets more rigid, difficult to move. If you warm it up, especially this kind of stuff, you're gonna have a little easier time getting it on the barbs and the fittings down there. And one other little trick is we've got some Dawn soap, and I've just put a little bit in a cup there, and you can just kind of dip your finger in there, and what we'll do is we'll put a little bit around the barbs, and that'll help just ease that on there. And that's what I do. That's what I've used in the past. Some people may have a different opinion of what works, but some of the stuff can be an absolute nightmare. And then y'all can also see, for safety's sake, what we're doing on all our connections is we're double clamping this, and we're alternating the position of the clamps, and we're going to just tighten them a little bit at a time, kind of sequentially as you're tightening them down. And as we're putting that pump into the brass fitting, we're going to be using just a standard Teflon tape. Now, one little trick I've learned is when you're screwing those pumps in, the threads are going in, you're kind of screwing it in clockwise. So when you wrap the tape on the threads, you actually wrap the tape on there, I guess it would be like counterclockwise on the threads. That way, as you're screwing the pump in or the fitting in, it's tightening the Teflon tape on the threads as you're screwing it in. And right now I'm without a cameraman today, y'all, so it's a little bit tricky. That's why I'm doing more talking and less just actual demonstrating. But important step here, getting super close to going on another boat ride. Y'all hang tight. I'm going to show you how the installation looks once we're all done. So we just got back a little while ago from Blue Water Ship Stores, or Boat Owners Warehouse there on Highway 59. What's going on, guys, if you are watching the channel? We picked up some 3/4 inch, the heavy duty reinforced, and that is going to be actually for our saltwater washdown. But I wanted to show y'all a cool little trick that we use sometimes to make things look really nice and neat when we're doing rigging. And if you look in here, you can see how we've spun up the wire that comes off of the bilge pumps and the washdown pumps and whatnot. I want to show y'all how we do that. Now, there's your standard drill. You can see I've kind of opened up the chuck and ran those down in there, and it is just a matter of running that drill You want to pull back against it a little bit. And about right there. Y'all see how nice and neat. Now what I'm gonna do, since I'm without a cameraman today, I'm just gonna unchuck that. But if you want to really tidy up things, we'll do the same thing here on our big bilge pumps and whatnot. And you can just basically take all those, you bundle them up, you chuck them in the drill, and just slowly run it forward while pulling back ever so slightly. I'm gonna put that really nice braid. So we've had a pretty good week of activity. Y'all, you can see, obviously we got the hatches with the new Gemlux pulls, the Gemlux hinges. We've got our rod holders all installed. I'll kind of give y'all that little recap. We've done a lot of wiring up in the console, which I'm gonna show y'all in one of the upcoming episodes, how we wired all that in and how we put together a 36 volt trolling motor system. It's actually not that complicated if you've never done it. Need 3 12 volt batteries or like a single 36 volt lithium, but we went with 3 traditional batteries. And we got something pretty exciting coming up. This is some starboard that we've actually fiberglassed this corner, and this is gonna be our pedestal seat. So this is gonna be the base for our upholstery. I basically just fit this, we screwed it together and put a layer or 2 of glass on either side. And then this is gonna be the backing for that. And my buddies Jay and Michelle at the Hope Chest Upholstery here in Gulf Shores actually just refinished the upholstery for us in our 23-foot Kenner, and I think they did a beautiful job. So kind of exciting there, y'all. We are getting super close to finishing the new boat, the 29. We're going to be selling the Kenner. That's kind of a big announcement. A lot of people want to know what we're going to be doing with the 23 Kenner that I've been running for the last 8-9 years. We're going to be selling it. So if anybody's in the market for a really nice boat set up for fishing, y'all have seen me catch thousands of fish in this boat. It's been a great boat, but I don't need 2 boats at one time, so we're going to be selling it. And I want to pose a question to you guys. We're still making a decision on marine electronics. I've had Garmin equipment so far. It's been really good to me. I know Simrad makes some really cool stuff. Ray Marine makes some really good stuff. Maybe you guys can comment down below what brand you think is going to be the most reliable, best bang for your buck, and would be a good boat for, or a good good electronics for me to put on the new boat. Y'all, it's so hot down here I can't even think straight. But y'all know it's Captain Joe here with Island Marine Charters down in Gulf Shores, Alabama. I truly appreciate you guys tuning into the channel, and we'll catch you guys next time out.